Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this video I'm going to walk you through some of the NASDAQ and QQQ setups that we had this morning and just some of the nuances to that setup. So actually, let's start off with this, and that is just a look at what I did all day today in terms of trade alerts. So I'm going to actually copy the trade alerts that we had for you guys and show you what we did. Okay, so these are the alerts that I sent out in the room. Now I want you guys to know everything that we did so you've got a better idea of how I was attacking the day. The first one, well, you guys should be aware of this setup because this was part of the free video from Friday where we talked about setting up crude long, and we're taking profits into that long today. So the idea was getting in at 41.55, which we did get that opportunity to do, and then executing the first target today, either scaling out of QM mini, scaling out of the calls in CL, or scaling out of CL itself. So that was the first thing that we did, sort of a housekeeping on some follow through on some end of day trend following swing trades. All right, the first thing that I noticed is we had some relative outperformers. We had names that I liked better than others. Facebook, Microsoft, the XLY, and also the NASDAQ futures, the NQ as well as the QQQ. Now, these are all futures trades to me, as far as I'm concerned, because they're all attached. They're all sort of working together. There's a harmony to looking at XLY, Facebook, Microsoft, and NASDAQ. And that is, there's a relative outperformance in those specific stocks, in that specific ETF sector, consumer discretionary, and in the NASDAQ futures themselves. So that's what we focused on today. We're going to talk about the NASDAQ futures together in this video. So classic opening range setup. And this is very much what I talked about in the webinar that I did last Thursday. You can catch that replay, by the way, at simplertrading.com/gains, Gains. I don't even think you have to put in your email address or anything. I think the replay is just right there. By the way, I'm doing another webinar day after tomorrow, this coming Thursday, and that's going to be once again at 8 p.m. Eastern. So 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be doing another webinar. And in this one, for those of you that are thinking, okay, Rog, I like trading futures, but what about this option stuff? And what about these stocks that you're doing? Well, that's going to be the emphasis on this Thursday's webinar. You can sign up for that one over at simplertrading.com/any. All right, ANY. Let's talk about what we did today and how the QQQs played a big role. So we played, as I showed you here. Let's focus in on this part of the trade, this one right here. Okay, so let's kind of focus on that. So the idea was to buy as the market dipped back into 625 to 615. Let's get long NASDAQ futures. Now the stop, you might take a look there and say 565, that might be a little steep for some folks, right? Yeah, we could get down to more conservative levels, but let's look at this another way. I want you guys to think about this another way. Realize that anything above the stop loss is fair game. Anything above the stop loss can be considered a buy. You think anything? Yeah, anything. From your entry to your stop is your risk. Now you multiply that by the number of contracts you have. There's your negative impact in case this level were to get hit. So your entry isn't about what do I get the first shot at. Your entry is, if I'm wrong, what's it going to cost me? That's the first paradigm shift. The second is I'm not playing momentum. In fact, there was only one momentum play this morning that I mentioned and walked traders through in the chat room, and that was because of the levels above which we opened at 9:30. The first thing that we were likely to see was a fade on the open, and that's exactly what we saw because we opened above three key levels, and it just suggested that traders were going to fade the strength on the cash open. After that, I'm focused on the long. So bring the market lower, thanks very much, and we'll fade that strength, and that's exactly what it was. Now, for a lot of traders who look at the chasm between that support level that we took advantage of right about here and then this entire distance down to the stop. Well, remember, what's the negative consequence in case we're wrong? And then what are alternative ways to get long? And that is where the QQQ comes in. And this is where I tell a lot of traders, hey, let's focus on day trading the futures ETF alternatives via their options, as well as maybe the micro or the mini. And that's what a lot of traders did. And this, I believe, was good for almost a point today as we moved higher. Do I know this is going to be a large ranging day? The expectation was actually higher because of key things that happened before 10:30. And then as we remained above other levels that are volume derived, there was no reason to believe that we couldn't continue as long as we were above those levels. So this was a really nice trade. We've actually just exited it. It's 3:51 p.m. Eastern. So we had a trailing stop by way of not wanting to see the market go down below 11.7. We had a proactive exit up at 7:15. And these are, well, let me show you what I sent out to traders here. So this was the last leg of managing that trade. I really want you to see some of the transparency of what we're sharing. Okay, so 3:21 p.m., that's Eastern. I said, look, if you're in the QQQ calls that we bought, which, by the way, you can tell here, what do we buy? The 283s. If you're in the NASDAQ futures from the earlier setup, whatever it is, either if we break 11.7, 690 is a stop, trailing stop to close, or 720, 715 to close. Be flat by 3:50 p.m. Eastern. That's your time-based exit. And I don't know that we got 720. I think we got really close. You know, and I can armchair quarterback myself with you guys right now. I should have put 715, but I don't think we hit that either now that I think about it. Did we? Oh no, we hit 719. Darn it. Okay, I didn't realize we missed it by just a point. Anyway, that's what we did. And it was a fantastic trade. Again, remember this. We do not know what's going to happen on any day. We wait for the market to continue to unveil clues to us. It unveils another clue, it unveils another clue, it unveils another clue. And then we can start to put together a better picture. And that's really what we did. As the market unveiled certain clues, we stuck with it for the higher expectation of a larger ranging day. So if that kind of trading, the QQQ, the NASDAQ, appeals to you, come check out what I'm doing on Thursday, 8 p.m. And I'll walk you through a whole bunch of examples like that and what it is that I do to set up trades like this. I'll see you in the next update.